right, welcome back to Moms in Real Estate. I'm your host, Kristen, and today my friend flew all the way from Connecticut to be here. So it's Cindy with Coffee and Contracts, which if you guys listen to the podcast, you know all about coffee and contracts. And now we get to meet Cindy, who is in charge of all of the partners with Coffee and Contracts. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Why don't you get everybody up to speed with what your role is, and then we'll dive into kind of your background and your life and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yes. So like you said, I am Cindy, and I'm the head of partnerships at Coffee and Contracts. And really what I feel like I truly do is help people in our industry diversify their income and add a passive income stream to what they're doing.
Yes.
And so who that is can range from real estate agents who are interested in connecting with other agents to build their referral business, can be real estate coaches. The way I say it is like anyone who is serving agents or has relationships with agents, what they may or may not realize is that they have influence over agents.
Yeah.
And that's something that's...
Well, I think the way that you put it too, I think a lot of agents listening are probably like their ears are perking up because we always talk about the hamster wheel of like, where's the next transaction coming from, which is great. Like you've got to focus on production, but if you're in relationship with people that also need something like Coffee and Contracts, how awesome to be able to get paid off of that. Like, let's just talk about how great that is.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's a really unique opportunity, and I'm really happy that we're able to offer it. And a lot of the conversations that I have are that people were like, oh my gosh, I already knew about you guys and love about you guys. I didn't even know you had this partnership structure. So to finish out, you know, I say that that's what I'm doing, helping. We do that through an affiliate program through our membership. And
well,
so
let's even back up a second because there might be somebody who just popped, you know, this on and it's their first time listening. So what is Coffee and Contracts?
So Coffee and Contracts is a marketing membership for agents. So we do a lot, but honestly, our bread and butter is helping agents attract clients on Instagram. And let me focus on actually attracting clients on Instagram because there are a lot of other companies that do what we do in terms of giving real estate agents social media content. But a lot of them are not seeing the results that our members see. And because we have an entire team that dedicates 24/7 to keeping up with that kind of stuff. And the hill that I'll die on is that I think that real estate agents are wearing too many hats.
Oh my gosh, so many hats.
And trying to be the expert at too many things. When in reality, I think their businesses would be a lot more simpler and maybe even profitable if they kind of just stayed focused. I mean, I talk to agents all week, every week, and obviously, like I have a company where we do content days every single month because everyone struggles with content, and it's not just. Yes, it's getting the content. That's why we do content days. But the other element of it is it's the execution of the content that you get. And what I love is I love logging in and going into my vault and being like, oh my gosh, like this prompt is here and all I have to do is like execute it. And the thing that like this morning I got emailed from you and it was talking about how like likes are out and it's all about shareable content now. And I'm like, it's just good. Like that getting put in my head, it makes me think before I go and create content, like, is this shareable? Not is like I'm trying to get all these likes from it. So I just think it's like so important, like even like that little piece. And I know that there's a whole community for everybody that's in Coffee and Contracts. So it's just like a really, really great company. I've loved being a part of it. Thank you. Yeah. And it's the tool that will help you with consistency.
Yeah.
Because I think for years, we all know as being in this industry that social media is important. And maybe, you know, people in the industry like you who they listen to their advice and they take that and that's great and that's so needed. But what about next week? And what about 3 weeks from now? And what about when you leave that industry conference all hyped up and, 6 months from now, you still need to be posting content consistently to actually have that be a legitimate lead generation strategy. And so that's what I always say is that we're the tool that helps you be consistent after you've heard the advice, no matter where the advice is coming from. That's what's so great about our product actually is that I feel like the industry does the idea of selling the fact that you need to be on social media. And so we're like, yep, we're here and we can help you with that too. But you can't go to a conference and like think that being on social media is optional.
I agree. Okay, so let's talk about you because something I love to showcase on this podcast is that real estate looks different for everybody and it's not a one size fits all. and you were an active agent who took a full-time role serving agents. You are a mom of some little kids.
Yes.
And so why don't we just like go there? Tell me a little bit about your journey.
So backing it up, yes, I was a realtor. I got licensed in 2020. And my story is that I actually say that I was a Coffee and Contracts member even before I was licensed.
Shut up.
Because I was in California, and with the COVID delays, people getting their license, everything was delayed. Like everything was just backed up. That was just the sign of the times. 2020 was fun. 2020.
Yeah.
And so I already know though that I was helping a team with their marketing as kind of like the way that I was starting out in the industry. And so, paying attention to all that stuff and really aligning with wanting to grow on social media and have that be my thing as a real estate agent. And so as I'm waiting to take my test, I'm like, you know what? There's no reason that I can't start posting content on Instagram about San Diego. That's where I was an agent. About, I don't know, just being like building that professional brand without saying, I'll take you to see this house next week because, well, I couldn't do that just yet, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning. And so I was a Coffee and Contracts member, and I was really active in using the content and listening to what they were saying and just staying engaged with the team. People always ask me, how did I meet Haley? And I'm like, well, I actually didn't meet her until I was fully on the team, but we knew each other just through social media and through me being a member. So fast forward, I get my license. I'm an active agent in San Diego, where I was living at the time. Doing all the things, tough time, tough market to be in. There's so much competition. There's so many incredible agents that are social savvy and everything. And I loved helping first-time buyers, but it was a tough time for first-time buyers too. So all in all, though, I have my son. And once I had my son, I realized I needed to pivot. That not only in business, but in the fact that my husband and I wanted to move back to where we were from, Connecticut.
Okay.
So I'm in San Diego. We moved there for fun. We had our fun. We had our son. And then all of a sudden we both felt very called back to that area. And so how are you a real estate agent and then move your business cross country? And so I had to make a major pivot. And one thing I was like, I do not want to start over again, because I was at like year 3 maybe at that point.
Yeah.
And so I was definitely seeing momentum, seeing the payoff, but I'm like, you're also exhausted at that point from the building stage. And so Haley put out a job posting actually for graphic design for being part of the team hourly. And I was like, oh, me, I'll do that. I can help with that, as I knew that we were going to be moving. And so I got on the team that way, and I joke that I just kept poking her. I just kept being like, hey, I have this idea, because I knew so much about the company because I was a member. Yeah. And I said, hey, I have this idea, and if you do it, the company would probably make more money, and then if you just share a little bit of that money with me, like, that's cool. Which is like job structure 101. Like that's literally how it works. And and I also said, I have an entrepreneurial spirit and mindset, but I am not interested in building my own thing and wearing all of the hats, because it's at this time in my life of my son was 1.5 at that time. Yeah. It's just a lot. And so I said, listen, I have that spirit, I have that drive, but I want to help somebody else grow their thing. Yes. And so my story is that I made this huge pivot, and now I'm in partnerships on the team, and it's very helpful in my role now, being able to set up this opportunity for other agents or other people in our industry, so that if they need to make a pivot, or maybe that's not even on the table, but in my case, if you needed to make that pivot, you have these diversified income streams and you have these options. And one thing that I wish that I did more of is build more of an agent network when I was an agent. That's something that I can see so clearly now is so important and can be so beneficial in so many ways. So beneficial. But when you're a brand new agent, it's hard to see it that way. When you have that scarcity mindset because you are clawing for business, it's hard to see that. But now I'm like, oh my gosh. And so just even starting that, I mean, you've built communities, that's what you do. But But I think that people only see, oh, I have to build this whole community. Why am I going to spend all my time building a community for real estate agents? Well, you don't have to start it that way.
Yeah.
Just be more intentional about, okay, when you meet that agent and you're friends with them, add them to a database and kind of just figure out what to do with that community later.
Yeah.
But you never know where your life is going to take you.
Yeah.
And so to build those foundations is important.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's one of my biggest pet peeves for so long where I see agents that are missing the boat on the agent-to-agent relationship. Even outside of this type of opportunity, it's like you have got to be friends with people who get what you're going through. And so many people are like building this thing on their own, and it's such a lonely world. And we're trained, like we have everyone, like your mind instantly wants to go to scarce, right? And it's like, no, when you practice like shooing scarcity away and all of a sudden having abundance and like being in relationship with them, you will find so many more positives than negatives. And you will find like we aren't even going after the same people at all. And there's so many freaking people.
No.
Like,
and you do not have the same personality
yeah,
as them.
and this person's enhancing how I do my job, right? And how I show up as a mom and how I, whatever it is. There's so many, I always say like real estate's funny because, you can smile and think, oh man, there's a lot of weird people in real estate. But then you can like smile and be like, I have met some of the coolest people all around the United States through this industry. And I can genuinely say that.
Yeah.
So cool. I love our industry.
Me too.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about being a mom of 2 young kids. Having this job, like tell me some of your struggles and maybe some of your, like what's working for you.
Yeah. So I have a 3-year-old boy and a 10-month-old girl. So motherhood is still a new.
3-year-old boys are insane.
They
All
are
age
insane.
boys are insane.
They are insane. Yeah. So that is that. And then I have my 10-month-old girl who's this little angel who sleeps through the night. And if she was my first child, I would say, what is so hard? What is so hard about this? But thankfully, she's my second. And
I would legit have another kid if I knew I'd get a girl like that. I'd be like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. So I mean, gosh, the biggest struggle is, just being able to stay focused on a day-to-day basis.
Totally.
On a day-to-day basis. And personally, I also really struggle with, it's like society and motherhood and how much time we're supposed to spend with our kids and how much time we want to spend with our kids. It's like a conversation I feel like people are not having.
Yeah, let's have it.
What's interesting is once your kids turn 5, right, kindergarten age, that's what I'm referring to, people either send their kids to school or some choose to homeschool. But for the most part, like that's the now kid path. Kids go to school all day long and parents either work or they are stay-at-home moms or whatever it is. From 0 to 5, there are so many different ways that you can live your motherhood life and business life. And do you have a nanny? How many hours do you work? Do you send them to daycare? How many days do you send them to daycare? My friends that are business owners and they had their first child at the same time that I had my second, right? So I'm like 3 years kind of ahead of them in that way. And I see them stretching themselves very thin because we have this flexibility in this industry that it's not you are sitting in office from 8 to 5 and that's it. And you have to send your kid to daycare and there's no other option. We have flexibility and you could work this way and you can work that way. And what I've honestly been dealing with is like the guilt surrounding everything that just falls into that, like, okay, how do you set up your life with business and motherhood from age 0 to 5? And just the struggles, the internal personal struggles of all of that.
Hey girls, did you know Moms in Real Estate has a referral network? That's right, we do. You guys have to check it out. It's called the Moms in Real Estate Referral Network on mirereferralnetwork.com. And you can search for moms in real estate all across the United States that can be your referral partners. Make sure to check it out now.
Hi, I'm Barbara, your tax coach, and we help real estate agents like you save money on your taxes. Today's tax tip is to pay your kiddos through your business. So if you have kids under 18, you can pay them up to $15,000 this year, and it's a business deduction for you and tax-free to them as long as it's set up correctly. So if you have kiddos that can help you with your social media, they can be models in your videos and photos, or even help you stuff envelopes. Follow along on Instagram at Your Tax Coach for more tax tips and tricks.
It's so hard. And
Yeah.
I've always talked about, like, it's the mom guilt and the business guilt, like they eat you alive.
Yes.
Like both. And I wish I had like the best answer for you, but I just like remember when I was in the phase that you're in, it was survival mode. Like
Yes.
I'm so grateful because my mom helped me so much, but I constantly felt like crap. Like crap for, not being with my kids when it was normal working hours, right? But you
Yes.
still feel bad.
Yes.
And then I'd remind myself, oh my gosh, if I had a corporate job, like you're saying, it'd be 9 to 5. And then I'd feel like crap because I'd have to get up and do all these things like extra early and barely see them. And then I'd get home and it's 6 at night and I have to cook dinner. And like, it's just this constant, like this mind, like
Yes.
argument or like mind, I don't know, but it used to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I still struggle with it.
Yeah, I feel like it'll never go away because
No.
then, like right now I'm in little kidhood, but then it'll be sports.
Yeah.
And after school activities. And one of my coworkers like, yeah, it doesn't get less busy. You just become like their Uber driver. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
your
and
life
that's like my time that I am like actually really good at that. I will tell you is like drop off and pick up and like being focused. And sometimes I'll notice myself not, and I'm like, no, this is like my time to have this is where they talk so much. Yeah. So it's like, this is where I'm asking like the really fun questions and having the conversations and singing and like whatever with them. Like that is so important to me because I know like all of a sudden we're going to get home and like chaos is going to happen and like something I might have to do for work or something they might have to do for homework or we have to get ready for football. And I try really hard too when I'm at football. Like it's easy to be like, oh, I have this, like I need to like check my emails or like work on this project. And I'm like, when I'm at football, I want to focus and watch them. So what I started doing is I started bringing like my headphones so I could listen to something while I'm watching them because that's different. Like I'm actually like I have no time to do that any other time. So I'm like this actually like I feel good about, but it's just finding what works for you.
Yeah. And that's what's tough is that it looks different for everyone. Every family dynamic is different. But yeah, it's what's great about our industry is that we do have this flexibility, but it's almost a blessing and a curse at the same time
100%.
mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there are some people that don't have a choice. And I think most of us would pick the flexibility over, the
then
prison.
you're explaining to your kids as they get older, like I work from home, so it's just like you got to think like I'm actually working. But sometimes I say it's worse that I work from home. Sometimes like I need to get out of here so that they don't think I'm ignoring them. So that's been a big struggle for me is like being able. So I actually told my husband, I'm like I gotta go. I co-work at Kiln Co-work, and I'm like I gotta get out of here and be there more because. It's just them thinking like, oh, mom's just sitting in there on her computer again. Like, no, I'm actually like, this is what I do for work.
Totally. My husband and I both work from home, so it's it's
hard.
It's nice though. We get to throw in a load of laundry.
And it is. It's hard and it's good.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like people are like, oh, then you get busy doing laundry. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not busy driving all over the place, right? Like you know what I mean? Like, so if I'm choosing to sit here, I'm gonna be able to like get a couple things done.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us something that has been great for you with working and being a mother?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I truly have learned that I really value working so much as being a mom. And I hope that it makes me a better mom and I hope that it makes me more well-rounded. But to be honest, going into motherhood, I was like, I'm going to work part-time and so that I could be part-time and see my kids.
Yeah.
And then in reality, I'm way too ambitious to be part-time.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. I can't stop.
Well, you love what you do.
I love what I do.
Totally.
So yeah, that's what's been part of it. And so Coffee and Contracts is an incredible company from, we're a small, gritty team, but we're flexible and that kind of thing. So but I get to be in traveling and doing things like that fuel up my cup, to be honest. So that the time that I spend when I'm not working is really quality. And so I don't know, I guess my message is like for a working mom, like this is a message to myself is like, don't feel bad for that. You're able to financially contribute to your family. That's a great thing, but it's how I feel more like myself.
Yeah.
And how
Well,
I'm not completely losing my identity in motherhood.
Amen. And I think so many girls listening to this, like, it's so good for our kids to see us passionate about something. And it's so good to not lose ourselves in our kids because that's so easy to do. But our job is literally to raise them to go off on their own. And so when they do, you don't want to be like, what do I have going on? And so that's why it's so important to build the way that makes sense for you, right? So this, like, you're passionate about this, and transactions you weren't passionate about, right?
No.
And so that's like perfect. You found this like lane for you, and so it's important to have your kids see you like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, I've loved having you on. Why don't we end it with a couple pieces of advice to all the girls listening that are struggling with social media? Maybe give us like 2 or 3 tips that you would want to, like, they're just sitting there like, I hate social media.
Oh gosh.
Which I hear all the time.
Really? I guess, I mean, if you hate it, it's probably...
Stop saying you hate it
Stop
first.
saying you hate it. I mean, if there was a message that I could give to like women everywhere, and I've felt this throughout my life, is that I wish more women had more confidence, just in general. And I know that for some people, such a struggle is putting their face on social media, pictures of themselves, videos of themselves, really integrating themselves into their social media. That's the only way that I think that it works, first of all. So I think that's what's going to work. But, you know, just record the video. People care more than you think. You know, they're like, why should I film a day in my life? All I do is fill up my coffee and walk to this corner of my house. I don't care. People find it so interesting.
Totally.
And so the more that you can weave your life into social media, and by the way, that doesn't, since I've had my kids, I've turned more into a private person too, but that doesn't mean that you can't weave what you are willing to share about your life into your social media, right? So you could talk, say you don't want to show your kids' faces, which is a common thing. You could talk about motherhood all day long. You could talk about the struggles that your kids are having without showing their faces or exposing too much personal. But I feel like that's truly the way that it's going to work, is you showing up, and you get a lot more comfortable over time and you get more used to it. And obviously finding tools that can help you with the consistency, because there's nothing worse than like opening up your laptop or your phone and being like, oh crap, I haven't posted in 5 days. I need to come up with something right now. Like, talk about the worst place to be creativity wise, to be like, yes.
I actually feel that so bad where I'm like, shit. But that's why it's so nice to hop
It happens. It happens. And it even happens on our side, like our marketing side for our company. We're like, oh, like we need to
it's crazy.
Continue speaking. But I've learned so much with, you know, the shiny thing syndrome of it all. I am like the worst culprit at that. The ways that you just drive this, doing the boring things consistently, and I don't mean boring because I just said, oh, social media is so fun, but like doing the right things consistently, it will get boring at a certain point. But that is what those people are doing that are seeing success in that. And so that's really my message, is to be more confident. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there in this AI world of people having the AI spit out this content that is so recognizable.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's so bad. And so, you know, make yourself more human and more irreplaceable, because people work with people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So that's maybe like 25 tips in my
But I think the confidence piece
answer.
The confidence piece is so big. Like, every retreat that I've had a confidence element from my friend Whitney, and I will tell you, it's like the most engaged part everybody's in. Like, everyone struggles with it so bad. I mean, I literally will tell you, when I watch back my videos, I cringe. Like, most of the time I won't watch. My brother-in-law last night at football, he goes, what podcast are you listening to? Are you listening to your own? I was like, absolutely not. And I was like, but same thing with videos, right? So it's like, half of my mouth does not work sometimes. And I'm like, I don't know when that happened or whatever. So I watch videos and I'm like, gosh, like, that's crazy. But then I'm like, I really don't care. So I'm like, just put it out there.
And the outcome is worth it.
The outcome is worth it.
Look at what you've been able to build through that, and the people that you've been able to connect with. And I've always felt like social media is so important for real estate agents to show what, like, have that person on the other side of the phone envision themselves having a conversation with you about real estate.
Yes.
You know, what do you sound like? I've always been a fan, trend or not, talking head video. So like you talking, I think you should be entertaining and engaging and not just say, here are the 3 listing prep tips for my sellers. Like, no. But what that does when you put your face on there and you talk about something and you're a well-spoken professional, that's what people say, oh, okay, I can picture myself having a conversation with that professional about the most important thing in my life, which is my house, you know, or
Yeah.
like when you're going through a transaction.
Yeah.
And so if someone can't picture that experience with you by looking at your Instagram, I think that's something that should change.
Yeah, and that's for any entrepreneur. Like I
Yeah.
literally look at people's Instagrams before I hire them for
Anything.
everything.
I do
And I
the
keep
same.
giving this example lately. Like I was looking for a new therapist and
Mm-hmm.
I found this guy through my church and I looked at his Instagram and I'm like, absolutely not. Like hard no for me. And there was like such a lack of effort and like
Yeah.
just so many things about it. I was like, absolutely not. My new girl, spot on.
Right. And if you had found someone who was giving a little bit of like advice here and there and something that you could connect with and their advice, and if that resonated with you, done.
Done.
And so I feel like there's such an opportunity for agents to do that on social media.
I 100% agree. Well, if somebody wants to follow you on Instagram, what's your handle?
Yes, my handle is at Cindy_Plord. Actually, no, it's not. I think it's, I need
saw
to
your
check
eyes
again.
like questioning.
I'm questioning. I believe it's
But
at,
you could search
You could search.
your name and it'll come up.
Can you edit that? I need to check. Yes, it's at, I believe it's at Cindy_Plord_.
Well, the good news is
Yes.
we will just put the link in the show notes.
There we go.
And then what about coffee and contracts?
Yes, at Coffee Contracts is our Instagram.
At coffee contracts, not coffee and contracts.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, that's where all the real good stuff is. I keep
That
my,
is, it's good.
My personal Instagram's been a little bit dead, but yes, I do have more info on like our partner program and everything as well through my Instagram.
Yeah, girls, if you're listening and you're like, I want to learn more about the partner program, you guys need to. So that's what you need to do is you need to reach out, find her on social media and ask her about the partner program and see if that's something that really resonates with you because I'm sure it will with a lot of the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking to build something beyond just real estate transactions, you know, that's certainly where the trend of the industry has headed, selling digital products
Yep.
or building a team. There's so many incredible ways that you can diversify your income in this industry. And I do
Amen.
think it's smart and strategic, but what's great about our partner program is that you don't have to build your own thing. That's always been something that we've said of if you have a digital product or a digital community, okay, you got to go build that thing. And so we have a great tool that
Yeah.
you can just plug into as being
Well, and that's what
part
I
of our
love. It's
team.
like, you know, I plug into your stuff. I'm part of Real Broker, same thing,
Yep.
right? So it's like I don't have to go build the brokerage. My sister asked me, like, why don't you
Exactly.
build your own brokerage? I'm like, why on earth would I? Like, I could never compete with this brokerage, and I love this brokerage.
Yes.
I have literally staff basically that
Yeah.
they pay.
Yeah.
They're here to help me.
You get
You
the
know,
perks
it's
and all the fun
fantastic.
parts.
Yeah. So it's honestly just makes so much sense. So also, we will give you a free week of coffee and contracts in the show notes. So if you guys go and click the link in there and you're like, what the heck is this? I want to check it out. Go check it out. You definitely should. And make sure to connect with Cindy and all the girls at Coffee and Contracts. And loved having you in person here.
you.
My favorite.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see all of you later. If you like this episode, make sure to like and to subscribe so that we show up in your feed. And if you want to stay close, make sure to check out the show notes because I have a lot of ways for you to do that.